Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Nitish here, and with this video we will start with the data flow concept. So we will learn about like what is data flow, what are the common business use cases of the data flow, and what are the benefits of using data flow. So let's get a start initially with the data flow definition. So data flow is a self-service data preparation and ETL tool which allows user to connect, transform, and shape data from various sources into reusable data model. So this is a technical definition, but I would like to focus on a couple of words from this technical definition, such as self-service, ETL, and reusable data model. So if we talk about the self-service, self-service is an approach or a feature that business user uses to implement their business use cases without any intervention from the IT team. So that we call as self-service. Now let's go to the ETL. So you guys may be familiar with this particular word ETL. Uh, and the ETL basically used for creating the warehousing environment. All right. So in the ETL, we actually extract the data from multiple source system, and then we transform that data and load that data in the centralized warehousing environment, and that centralized warehousing environment used for building different reports for the business so that they can take the decisions out of it, right? So this is about the ETL. Now let's go and talk about the reusable data model. So the meaning of this word is like the data model will be created at once and will be used multiple times, and that we call as the reusability concept. Okay, now let's move ahead to the next point. Dataflow provides a centralized and scalable approach to data preparation, enabling users to create and manage data transformation separately from their reports and dashboard. So just to make you understand about this particular point, guys, I'll take an example. So let's say, guys, whenever we create a Power BI report. So what we do initially, we connect to the source system and get the data. And once we have the data, we apply the data transformation on top of the data we so that the data will be neat and clean, right? So connecting to the source system and applying the data transformation can be stored separately from the report. Okay, and how it will be? These two steps connecting to the data and data transformation we will store separately by creating data flow. Okay, and once that data flow is created, we will connect to this data flow from the report and get the data from the data flow, and after that we can build the different reports out of it, right? So what we are doing here, we are keeping the data transformation part separately in the data flow, and we are reusing the data flow for building the different reports, right? And let's say if we wanted to uh, scale that data flow later point of time, so definitely we can do that. And since it is available in the Power BI service, so Power BI service is nothing like a centralized environment, right? So this is about this particular point. Okay, so definitely we can store the couple of information that is overheaded to the report into the separately, and that separately we will store in the data flow. Okay, so this is about this particular point. Now let's move ahead to the next point. It is the online version of the Power Query available in the Power BI desktop or Excel. So guys, you guys might have observed like whenever you worked on the Power BI, right? Initially we get the data into the Power BI, and after that we apply the data transformation, right? So the data transformation that you apply into the Power BI desktop, or let's say in Excel, you do it by using the Power Query tool, right? So Power Query is responsible to neat and clean the data in the Power BI desktop and Excel. But since these are the on-premise or the desktop version tool, right? So your Power Query will be your on-premise version, right? But let's say if you wanted to do the similar in the power in the cloud, then we have a Dataflow available, right? So Dataflow is nothing but the online version of the Power Query. So whatever you do with the Power Query in Power BI Desktop and Excel, the similar can be achieved in the Dataflow as well. Okay, so it's an online version of the Power Query. Now let's move ahead to the next point. Minimum Power BI Pro license is required to use that data flow, even though we can use the data flow with the premium license as well. But with the premium license, additional feature will be added to the data flow. We will talk about like what the additional feature will be added to the premium in the latest session. Okay, so let's move ahead to the next point. It stores the data into Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Yeah, so whenever we create the data flow, the data will be stored in the Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So by reading this point, you guys might have a question like, since we are going to use the Azure service such as Azure Data Lake Gen 2, is there any additional licenses required for that? I would say no. No additional Azure subscription needed for data storage of data flow. Okay, so this is not at all required. Now let's move ahead to the next point. We cannot create data flow in the Power BI desktop, but we can consume data flow, right? So guys, generally we all, I mean not generally, we always create the data flow in the Power BI service, not in the Power BI desktop, but we can consume the created data flow in the Power BI desktop for building the different reports. Okay, so this is all about the theory part of the data flow. Let's go ahead and try to understand the data flow from a diagram as well. So this is a very simple diagram that we have in this PPT, right? So as you can see here in the left pane, we have the different sources available, right? And we are getting this data from different sources, and the data is getting stored into the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. And if you guys observe here, this part connecting to the source system and storing the data is coming under the data flow concept, right? So that we can achieve in the data flow, and once the data flow is ready, we can create the different reports and the dashboard out of this data set, sorry, data flow. Okay, so this is what uh, this diagram actually illustrating. Now let's go ahead and talk about the business use cases, common business use case that I found. So the very common use case that you will find for the data flow is reuse a table in multiple report, which includes common data transformation. So guys, you guys might have observed that in the real time, there is a table uh, uh, in the report which is getting used in multiple reports. So every time what we are doing, like every time we are connecting to the source system and connecting to that particular table and getting the data, right? And let's say we have a second report, and in that report also that same table need to be utilized, then again we are connecting to the source system and getting this table, right? So this approach will happen for each and every new report. Okay, and this is what I illustrated with the first diagram. So as you can see here in this diagram, there are three reports, report 1, 2 and 3, and in all three reports we are using a table called customer, right? So what we are doing to use that customer table in the report 1, we are connecting to the source system and getting the data. In the report 2, again we are connecting to the source system and getting the data. In report 3, we are again connecting to the source system and getting the customer table data, right? So that's what we are doing in each and every report. And let's say there are additional report available, again we have to do the same, right? So that is something which can be improved, right? So the right diagram is the improved version here. So as you can see here we have created a data flow, and that data flow is actually including the customer table, and this data flow is available in the Power BI service. So the data flow is available centrally. Okay, so what is the improvement that we have done in this? We are connecting to the source system one time, okay, and this customer table centrally available, so it can be reused, Okay, and that's what is happening in this particular diagram. So if you just take a look on that report 1, 2, and 3, that's similar. We are connecting to that similar data flow and getting the customer table in each and every report, right? And once the report is ready, we are publishing the report into the Power BI service. So the improvement part we have done at the customer table level, right? So that customer table we included into the data flow, and that data flow is centrally available in the Power BI service. So whenever uh, we wanted to connect, we wanted to use that particular table, we can connect to the data flow and get this table. Okay, and let's say in future let's say report 4 or 5 added and want to consume that similar report, then they'll not connect to the source system, they'll connect to the data flow. Okay, and they'll get this customer table added into their report, and they can proceed with that for further report development, right? You guys might have one question, like we have added the customer table into the data flow. What about the data update? How the data will be updated? So uh, the schedule refresh also can be done for data flow. I mean, we can set up the schedule refresh so based on the different interval, right? So that can be decided by the business, like when it will be, right? And we can schedule a refresh for that time, and with that time, your data flow will be refreshed and your customer table will have the updated information. Okay, so that's how your data flow can be refreshed or can be updated. Okay, so this is a common use case, guys, that you will find generally in the base in the reporting solution. Okay, now n- let's go ahead and talk about um, why use data flow. Okay, so Power BI data flow offers several benefits and reason for their uses within the Power BI. So a couple of the benefits I listed below, which are like data centralization, data reusability, right? So these 2 points I already talked about, like what is the data centralization, right? So data flow enable you to centralize and consolidate data from various sources into a single location, and that location is nothing but your Power BI service, which simplifies data management and ensures consistency and accuracy across report and the dashboard, right? One important point that I wanted to tell about the data flow is, like, since the data flow will be available centrally, and let's say you have n number of data flows available, then managing the data flow will be easier. Okay, now if I just talk about the data reusability, so I think we already know about what is the word reusable. Like we will create the data flow one time, and we will reuse this data flow at multiple places or multiple reports for building the different reports and the dashboard, right? So this is what the data reusability. Enhanced performance. So how we are enhancing the performance here, like we are offloading the connection to the source system and data transformation from the report. All right, so that part we are storing separately, which definitely will improve the performance of the report, and that's what we have written here. Like by offloading data transformation preparation task to data flow, you can improve the performance of your report and the dashboard. Preparing data in advance in the data flow allow for faster query response time and smoother user experiences as well. Now let's talk about the scalability. Power BI data flow offer scalability, allowing you to handle large volume of data efficiently. With data flow based data preparation, you can handle complex data scenarios and scale your data processing capabilities as needed. So guys, as you know that the data flow stores the data into the Azure data lake, so definitely it can handle the large volume of data efficiently. Okay, now, if I just talk about the data governance and security, Power BI Data Flow provides the data governance feature as well. It means it allows administrator to control access, permission, and security setting as well. Data flow can be secured and managed centrally, ensuring compliance with data security and privacy regulations. So don't worry if you didn't get this last, benefit perfectly. We will discuss about it more once we will go to the demo part, right? So that time it will be clear to you guys. Okay. So this is all. This is about the benefits of the data flow. Let's go ahead. Yeah, so that's it guys for this video. In the next video, um, we will start with the demo. Like we will create a simple data flow in the Power BI service, and we'll show you like how it will be created so that you guys will have clarity like how to create the data flow in the Power BI service. So that's it for this video guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get the notification for upcoming videos. Thank you.